Well, hi there. Welcome once again to Coffee with Two Coaches. We're glad that you could join us. I'm Michelle Teague, and with me, as always, is my good friend Betty Novak. Hey there, Betty.
Hi, how are you? Good to be with you again. It's
Great
really
to
great.
be here. We've got an interesting topic this
Yeah,
time around.
you do.
We're talking about this concept of quitting being contagious. Because and we kind of saw this a little bit when the Great Resignation was happening, and
Mhm.
you had person after person after person who was leaving companies and going off, and a lot of them were doing their own thing. A lot of them were looking for better jobs and greener pastures. What we saw after that was this concept of one person leaving and then other people following. And this whole idea of, quitting becoming contagious. And when that happens, you, HR managers, business owners, any type of manager or leader, they really need to come up with a strategy for what to do to hold on to the people that they have. There's a lot of people who are feeling uncertain and unstable when it comes to their work environment. And as a leader, people need to be able to navigate through turbulent times like that. And that's going to require strategic thinking. It's going to require empathy. It's going to require strong commitment to preserving high morale there in the workplace and to increasing the productivity with the people that you do have. So let's take a look at some of the challenges of managing an organization when you do have this, contagious quitting going on. You have a mass exodus of employees and what some of the effective leadership strategies can be. So, Betty, what's something that people need to start with?
Well, they really need to know the why
Mhm.
more clearly. I mean, you gave a summary, but more clearly in their company that they're in. What is the why? For one, how they're feeling, and two, what their relationship is to the company. Right. And it's funny because we're talking about this because we've talked about quiet quitting. And we talked about the other day that, people, it was hard for people to decide where they were going to work. And a lot of them, as you said, went out on their own type of thing. And baby boomers are coming back into the workplace because they need to work. So there are a lot of chaos sort of happening out there. So understanding the why is important. And so you can effectively address the turnover, the rate of turnover. It's really important to understand the underlying reasons why employees are leaving. So the first thing you can do is conduct exit interviews and surveys. And I have to tell you, I can count on one hand, and I can't even, it won't fill my hand as to how many times I've had an exit interview. And I thought, are they afraid of what I'll say? Then that's not a real exit interview. So, but in a structured and confidential manner, the exit interview and surveys will offer an opportunity for you as the individual to candidly express your reasons and suggestions for improvement. Now, that's not whining and that's not being angry. I mean, it's a strategy session. So you're offering some strategies and actions. Um, a good thing is this insight can also highlight recurring themes that may signal underlying organizational issues. And I can't tell you enough. I was in entrepreneurial organizations and federal government, and you definitely can see trends that are happening and share them so that it can be improved.
Yeah, I like you said, I can count on one hand the number of times that there were exit interviews that were offered to me. And one of the places that I willingly left and went someplace else, when they did ask me to come in for an exit interview, they dismissed a lot of what I talked about. and mostly what I was talking about was the culture that
Mhm.
was there, and
Yeah.
yeah, you really need to listen to it. Um, when it comes to exit interviews and surveys, that goes hand in hand with asking for feedback,
Mhm.
which is the second thing that organizations need to do. Because during times of mass exodus, maintaining open communication is going to be crucial for fostering trust and alleviating anxiety among the people who are still there at the organization. And so, to help cut back on some of that anxiety, one of the things that you're going to want to do is establish continuous feedback channels. And you can do that through surveys. You can do that through focus groups. You can do that through one-on-one discussions to dig into any of the concerns that people will have, the aspirations that people have, because the people who are there, they still want to do a good job and they want to be able to move forward. So you need to be able to help them with that. And also you can ask for any areas for improvement and come up with suggestions for that. Really emphasize the value of the feedback that you're getting from your team when it comes to driving positive organizational change, and make sure that your employees know that their voices are heard and that their voices are valued.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And you were talking about the different things, surveys,
Mhm.
you know, that how do you do online or a piece of paper or even survey if in a focus group so that you know what to look for. But when it comes to one and your manager or you as a manager are having an exit interview, it's not very comfortable. And uh, a a lot of it's good to try to get a coach or consultant in to help you create a script or become easy with a conversation way to do things. And not all managers really are comfortable with conversations.
Yeah, and sometimes having a third party come in and do the actual interviews or do the actual surveys, people will be more open and honest with them because they don't fear any type of repercussion.
Yeah, and there's a a flip-flop. I mean, some people, if you bring in a third person resource, they'll say, I don't want the manager to be in there. And
Mhm.
then sometimes you have to say, well, the manager needs to be in here for this type of thing. So manager doesn't feel left out type of, you know, and doesn't work well. The manager's left out in the cold.
Yep.
Um, well, moving on to that, we want to analyze the trends and the data
Mhm.
and identify the common themes so that we can adopt a data-driven approach to scrutinizing turnover trends. Not just say, well, we lost all those people and good riddance. You want to have data points so you can make sure that you have check if it's really if it's really happening. In so you use insights gained during the exit interview, the feedback sessions that you had, um, analysis to identifying recurring themes, like here's some interesting themes: dissatisfaction with leadership, limited growth opportunities, work-life balance, or toxic culture. Big thing, especially among the younger generations. And especially, we're starting to see that the younger generation is starting to go to technical schools and deciding that they want a shorter college experience, but they want something that they can have, um, they have a time. They don't have to be there overtime or whatever. They have a 8 to whatever the time is that they get off and they can go home and enjoy it. And the Gen X's and new generation are really wanting that type of life. So life balance is really important to them. And then facilitating a systematic implementation of this targeted strategies that can boost employee satisfaction and retention. And there we have it. Improving the culture and environment
Mhm.
and relationships that you have with the employees and the employees themselves have with each other.
Yeah.
So analyzing the trends and understanding what's going on. is important, and then you can, take action.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Once you've collected all the information and and you've told your employees who are there, you value their feedback, and so you get that feedback, what are you going to do now? You have to take some type of action. That's how people know that you actually value what they say and that you value their suggestions is when you actually take those suggestions and start to implement them.
Mhm.
So once you've identified the key drivers for the turnover, for why people are leaving, you need to take decisive action to address those reasons. And the first thing you can do is develop an action plan. And when you develop any type of action plan, it doesn't matter what it's for, you need clear objectives, you need a timeline, and you need accountability that will measure and tackle each of the identified issues. That may involve implementing changes to leadership practices. It may involve revising policies and procedures. It may involve investing in employee development programs, such as coaching, such as training, or fostering a more inclusive and supportive work environment. When you have open lines of communication with your employees and with your team members about the steps that are being taken to address their concerns, and you continue to get feedback from them, that's going to help ensure that the changes that you're making are going to be effective and sustainable. And people are going to see that you're taking this seriously and that you do want the improvements to be there.
Yep, that's true. And also, you should be prioritizing the culture.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about the culture, the culture, the culture, the culture. It's really important for the culture to be solid and open. And so you want to cultivate a culture that is worth emphasizing,
Mhm.
by the teamwork is good. I mean, they're organized, they believe in what they're doing, and they have feedback into that work that they're doing as a team. And I won't say it again, but I did work with a very difficult team that everybody wanted to throw out, including who they had to talk to.
Mm.
So resilience and adaptability, that's really big now.
Yeah.
People have to be strong, culture has to be strong, but it has to be adaptable. And then you want to lead by example through your actions. If you're a manager, a team leader, I mean, even if you're part of the team, you need to show that you are a professional team member. And then celebrate successes, recognize the contributions and foster a sense of belonging. Some people will say, well, is that a party? Oh, good, we're having a party. And other people say, we're having a party? Why do I have to be there? There are ways that you can celebrate without, if your culture isn't big on parties type of thing. But,
And this would actually make for a really good future,
oh
uh,
yeah, it's true.
is just how do you celebrate? What can people do to do that? I think that would be a great future topic for us, um, because there are lots of different ways you can celebrate and lots of ways for recognition, and I think that that's something that gets lost on many organizations. Um, One of the other things that organizations and leaders can do is focus on retaining top performers because you don't want them to leave. The people who are doing the best, who are your top people, you want to keep them around because they're the most productive ones. They're the ones who are helping your company to grow. So invest in professional development opportunities and offer competitive compensation packages. I know people are concerned about what wages are these days, but the reality is if you don't pay somebody, somebody else will. If they are a good person, if they are a top performer and you're not paying to keep them, your competition will be more than happy to pay them to get them to go to work there. So organizations need to look for ways to provide pathways for advancement and to demonstrate commitment to all those team members' growth. because that's what they're looking for. There's been lots of studies out there showing that, especially millennials, they want opportunities for advancement and they want opportunities for personal and professional growth.
That's true. And that's more important almost than money, but they want to have a house now
Yeah.
and other stable things. So it isn't all about, hey, I want to come to work and then go home and enjoy my personal life. But it's interesting. I just had a thought during exit interviews, or if you've told your boss that you are leaving. One of the things that I used to work with my clients and my own managers was this: can you do a counter offer
Yeah.
to these? If it's not a culture issue and this person really needs money,
Mhm.
then higher compensation, then can you do that without rocking the boat for everybody else?
Right.
And HR has to be really creative, and compensation department has to be really creative too. But that is one way to do that. And if the person says, no, I need to leave because I'm really getting a lot more money, you know.
Mhm.
And if they name a figure, you may understand what type of money
Yeah.
people are looking for that you aren't offering. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, the other thing that happens is you want to motivate your team. I mean, mostly all organizations and companies have teams,
Mhm.
and especially in times of uncertainty, which is now. So the motivation can wane, was comes high and then,
Mhm.
but as a leader, you can play a crucial role in reigniting the spark and energy that the team has. And one way to do it is setting clear goals and then really maybe having them create a mission for their team. Provide regular feedback and recognition of work well done and team members that go above and beyond, and understand that that I would set in the norms of the
Mhm.
team, that you're going to do this and do they agree. And the other thing is you're going to offer opportunities for autonomy and creativity. So they can go outside the lines that you've given them, but there also should be some boundaries for those lines. And then you encourage collaboration and innovation and foster a sense of purpose that transcends the challenges that are experiencing during at that moment. And teams have to be allowed to be creative and
Mhm.
innovative, because especially they are trying to work with a customer. They are trying to work with a client. In my case, they were trying to work with school systems that were just administrative and public services. They were, because I worked in the federal government, and we had to come up with a creative way that was a little different, because their customers really didn't want them to come in the same old, same old. And
Mhm.
when they came in, they shocked them and they said, we really liked this better. And then that reinforces that and motivate them to re-engage as a team. So there are, reasons for innovation
Yeah.
and
And
flexibility.
yeah,
Sorry.
and once again, when it comes to that recognition, people need to realize that motivation is both internal and external. You've got different ways to motivate people, and leaders need to be aware of that. What motivates the different people on your team, and what is it that they're looking for? So yeah,
And that's where those conversations happen.
definitely.
Conversations with the team members themselves,
Mhm.
and then conversations individually telling them that, you want to, we don't have enough time here, so you really want to meet with each of you to
Mhm.
get information, and then you come back and share what information you can share,
Yep,
that the person that you interviewed or, talked to, said that's okay. You can do that.
definitely. All right. Well, this has been an interesting conversation. When it comes to leading an organization through a mass exodus, when you're losing team member after team member, that's going to be challenging. No, there's no way to sugarcoat this. It's going to be a challenge. With the right approach, though, it's possible to come out on the other side stronger and more resilient because you've taken the time to figure out why this is happening and implement an actual action plan. So when you understand those reasons behind the turnover, when you manage your team with empathy and with transparency, when you foster a positive company culture and find ways to motivate your team, you can navigate through those difficult times with confidence. Leadership is not about avoiding challenges. It's not about pushing things off. It's about rising up to meet those challenges head on and to guide your team towards a brighter future. And that's what people need to do, especially when they find themselves in the situation of losing a lot of people.
And like you said, the exit process is helps you protect your company
Yeah.
and the employees when the employees leave, because people are going to say they're leaving now I have to work their work, oh
Yeah.
no, type of thing. That's another thing we should talk about, of when something happens like that, how does a leader, a manager, maybe an executive, also overall the whole company, how do you work out the work
Mhm.
people
Yeah.
are leaving? Because I've always said downsizing is not always the way to go.
No.
And it's really hard on everybody when you downsize just for the bottom line and not thoughtful downsizing. So
Well,
that's a different topic too, but it's in the same bailiwick.
I agree. All right. Well, another interesting topic that we've had. We learn so much whenever we
Yeah,
do this, and
sure.
there's so much to share. Um, Thank you everyone for joining us. We hope you found this useful. If you've got suggestions for future topics, if something like this really resonates with you and you want to dig deeper into it, let us know. Because we're more than happy to get in there, do a little bit more research, and we want this to be relevant for you. So let us know what topics you would like to hear more about, and you can do that in the Facebook group. You can do that in the LinkedIn group. You can do that on um, YouTube. Let us know what you'd like to hear about next.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you.
Well,
That's
thanks
good.
everybody, and we will see you next time. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye.